Good morning. It is that time of the week again. Well, it's always that time of the week, isn't it? It is fitness fragrance review time. So if you haven't seen a fitness fragrance review before, essentially what I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to do a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing a fragrance. It's going to be this one today. It's the Essence Vault 138. I've bought loads of Essence Vault fragrances lately, and this is the final one that I haven't reviewed. And it is a clone of Killian's Angel Share. This is a very well-known fragrance, Killian Angel Share. It's been cloned by many brands before. I think Latifa, which is a very popular Middle Eastern brand, I think they called it Kumra essentially, and the bottle even looks similar to that one. The Essence Vault, they don't really have very flashy bottles, certainly not like the Killian Angel Share one, but it's all about what it smells like inside. So essentially today, I'm going to rank it on 5 categories. So it'll be its price/value for money, its versatility, its projections, how much I'm noticing it during my run. We'll also do a room spray test to see how much the fragrance fills up the room. We'll talk about compliment factor. Do I think this fragrance can get compliments? And then we'll test for longevity, where I'll spray my arm sort of 9:15 it will be by the time I actually do it. Then 3 hours will go by while I'm at the gym, have a shower. We'll see how much this fragrance lasts. But what you want to know is what actually is in the Essence Vault 138, the clone of Killian's Angel Share. I'll tell you what, 2026 is obviously, technology has gone through the roof with AI and all those things. But I'm still writing my note breakdown on a post-it note. Yes, I'm going to tell you the note breakdown on a post-it note. But this is what is in this fragrance. So the top note is cognac. Now, I think this is the real selling point with this fragrance, that boozy note, particularly in the high-end Killian Angel Share. Very prominent, very distinctive. And let's be honest, I absolutely love boozy notes. They certainly make a statement, so you can already tell it's going to be more of that sort of dress-up, night-out occasion. But then we go into the middle. You've got cinnamon, tonka bean, and oakwood. I've never really noticed oakwood in fragrances before. Does this have a real woody complexion? Give it a smell. Not particularly. I'm not really getting so much of that oak. I mean, in terms of what I'm noticing at the moment, it's probably that tonka bean, because there's like this creamy smoothness about the fragrance, and that boozy cognac, which you're getting in the opening. But I think it's in the base here where you really detect a lot of these notes. You've got a bit of praline, a little bit of nuttiness essentially. You've then got vanilla and sandalwood. Again, sandalwood I think just smooths the edges off around this fragrance. It's not harsh, it's not aggressive or anything from my opinion so far. But there is a definite sweetness, and I think that is the vanilla mixing with that boozy note. I think it's that cognac vanilla combination. Very Moorish, very addictive, very alluring, and yes, seductive essentially. And that's probably why this fragrance has been, well, why there is a clone of Killian's Angel Share such as this fragrance, because it is a very much mass pleasing date night statement type fragrance. So yeah, cannot wait to review this one today. So what I'm going to do, I'm obviously going to go for a run in a minute. The weather isn't looking very good. Well, it is going to be raining. It's going to certainly rain walking to the gym as well. But yeah, we're going to do the first 2 categories anyway. We'll look at this price/value for money and its versatility. I'll see you out there. We are off, and another run begins, and another review begins. It's mad to think a year ago I was basically a month away from doing my ultra marathon for charity. It's a lot more fun doing this without the pressure and just reviewing scents, that's for sure. And today we are looking at the Essence Vault 138, the clone of Killian's Angel Share. Now, price/value for money for this one, again, with all of them, 100ml bottle of this, you'll be paying £25. I paid, obviously I got a little 30ml bottle, I paid £15 for that one. I thought it was worth looking at the price for the original Killian Angel Share, and it's amazing how expensive it is. I didn't realise it was quite this much, but you're paying nearly £300. On some websites, £300 for a 100ml bottle of this. So first of all, if you can get a clone that smells similar, and I have smelt the original, this one certainly does smell similar, you've got to say it's good value for money just to start with. This is exactly what clone fragrances should be. They should be giving you a good price for an expensive scent. That's why I look for them, to save myself some pennies. Now, the other thing that's important is obviously scent quality. I think any fragrance that's quite cheap, which this one is on the lower price range, that tries to utilise a boozy note deserves a bit of credit. Boozy notes can be quite hard to pull off in cheap fragrances. I had a Nasamato Baronda clone from Devane, and I'll be honest with you, the boozy note in that is really not good. It doesn't smell like the original at all. What I would say with this one, that cognac note in this is very good. It's really good, and it complements the other notes in the fragrance where it's not overpowering. It's not, you know, it's not overpowering the vanilla. It doesn't feel like it's, you know, separate from those notes. It feels like it's been blended really well, and it's the heart of the fragrance, which is what you wanted, because that is the big selling point of the Angel Share. Now, the only thing I'm going to say here, and I've had this with a few of the Essence Falls, the performance. Now, obviously we'll talk about projection and we'll assess that a little bit more as we go on today. But just from my initial impressions of this feels quite tame. It doesn't feel like it's that strong. It almost feels like what they've done is they've gone for scent quality and it making it not smell as synthetic at the sacrifice of not having a strong performance. And I feel like if you're someone who knows that original scent and then you wanted to buy this to replace that one, you're going to be underwhelmed, because it's not going to give you that big projection, that big performance, which this is really what these sort of scents are all about. They're about being sweet, alluring and seductive, and I think this one just lacks that performance to really feel like it's going to get noticed just from my initial impressions. So while it smells very good and very realistic and not harsh at all, it also feels like you're going to forget it if you've even got it on, and it's going to be gone quite quickly. So for that reason, price test value for money will go 7 out of 10. I still think you'd want the original. If you love the original, it feels like this one's more likely to be a top-up spray in your bag than something that's going to full-on replace it. So moving on to versatility for the Essence Vault 138. How much can you dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons, all those things. Well, I have to say, I think he's going to do a bit better than I thought on this one. Again, I talked about performance not being very good a minute ago. And when you look at the notes of this fragrance, it's clear that it's built for nights out, dress-up occasions. You know, when you've got things like cinnamon in it, cognac, tonka bean, vanilla, you think of those date nights, more seductive occasions, more formal occasions when you're trying to make a statement. But because of the performance, first of all, it isn't heavy, that it really feels like it's going to cut through a crowd and stand out. So that limitation is probably a positive in terms of when we talk about versatility. But there are other notes in this that make me think it isn't quite as dark and heavy as some other fragrances that are in this sort of genre of, you know, night out fragrance. You know, when you look at praline, when you look at, you know, the woods that are in this oak and sandalwood, they've kind of taken the aggressiveness off the vanilla, because vanilla can be quite strong, quite powdery, and it's really not in this. Cognac can be quite strong and intense, and it hasn't really got that strong intensity in this. And of course, you know, when you've got leather and other notes in fragrance, some smoky notes, they can be quite overpowering, and they don't have that in this fragrance. And what it's led to is quite a smooth scent. It's still suited more to those night out dress up occasions, but it more fits the genre of a fragrance like Lost Cherry. I'd kind of wear, even though they don't smell the same at all, I kind of wear them for the same reason. You know, you've got that cherry liqueur vibe in Lost Cherry, which isn't very dark. It's obviously quite a fruity fragrance, which means you can wear it in those cooler transition days. And I think exactly the same with this one. I think it's light enough in some respects to wear on those transition days, as long as it's quite cool, and even in a climate-controlled office environment. Whereas some of those strong leather fragrances, like an ombre leather or a Tuscan leather, you're never going to wear on those occasions because it's just too dark, it's too intense. This isn't dark, this has got a slightly uplifting, you know, it's not quite as dark, that's what I'm trying to say. And that means you can use it in more situations. So that helps its versatility alongside the slightly weaker performance, the slightly disappointing performance I'm getting at the moment. So for that reason, versatility is probably going to get a higher score than I thought. It's not really for a younger person, it's certainly not a gym workout fragrance, it's better than that. There's more complexity in the fragrance than that. But I think anyone, you know, late 20s and up can like this, male or female as well, straight down the middle for me, slightly more masculine because of the boozy note. But I'm going to give it, for versatility, an 8.5, so it's done a lot better than I thought. I think in terms of that genre of scent that's more suited to that winter time, this one's pretty versatile, and again, similar to a Lost Cherry in terms of its uses. But yeah, what we'll do when we get back, we will finally get onto projection and how much I'm noticing it on my run. Spoiler, I'm disappointed so far. The workout done, it is now time to spray my room for test for project. For workout done, it is now time to spray my room to test for projection. I'm going to keep that in because I normally crop out all my bloopers, but essentially I'm going to spray my room 10 times. So essentially I want to see how much the Essence Vault 138 will fill my room. So if this was an office and a colleague came in, would they notice the scent? Obviously I'm at home, would a family member or friend, if they walked in, realise you're sitting in your room wearing a nice fragrance. Now I'm also going to spray my arm. It's 9:15. A few hours time will go by. Obviously I won't reapply the fragrance. I just want to test this for longevity later. So 3 hours by after I've had my shower. Hopefully that will last a little bit. We're going to head downstairs and we will talk about projection. Did it improve during my run? Did it do better than those initial impressions I was talking about while I was going into versatility? Oh, that's lovely. Joe is so quiet in the house as well. Nobody's here at the minute, which makes it a lot easier when I'm talking to my phone, talking about projection for the Essence Vault 138, the Killian Angel Share Cologne. Now, what was the projection like on this? To be honest, it wasn't super strong. As I said at the start of this run, I essentially did. It didn't really project. I barely noticed it, to be honest with you. And it was underwhelming, I must admit. And I was thinking, oh, this should be stronger. But I feel like I need to eat humble pie a little bit with this, because maybe my impression of what this fragrance should be was wrong. But I said it should be a real statement, night out, cut through the cold type fragrance. And maybe it should be. Maybe this cologne isn't as strong. And it's definitely not as strong as the original. But as we said, there aren't these really strong leather notes and it's smoky notes that are in this fragrance that you may expect to have that stronger projection. But what I did notice, I caught it a couple of times. I did catch this fragrance a couple of times within about an hour and a half. And I'm wondering if it's one of those statement scents that is a little bit closer to the chest that draws people in. Because when I did smell it, I was like, oh, that was really nice. I caught something there that was really, really sweet, a boozy sweetness that I want to get closer to where that is. Who smells like that? And I do think maybe this is what this fragrance is. Maybe it's one where it's a little bit more seductive, a little bit more alluring, but much closer to the skin, much closer to the body, not so much loud in your face, because it doesn't have those really loud notes. And the woods in this, I think, are toning that down. So I think I'm just wrong on this one. I think the projection was actually better than I thought, because I didn't expect to smell it at all after that initial stages. But when I did catch it, when I was sort of stopping, crossing roads, all those things, it drew me in. I was like, oh, that was really nice. Where did that come from? And obviously I knew it was on the cell, so I was kind of digging my nose into my top, hoping to smell it again. So I do think it is meant to be maybe a little bit close to the skin. So I'm not expecting this one to fill a room. I'm not expecting it to be a big projector on this one, but I'll finish my cup of tea, we'll head upstairs, and then we can give that score overall. Up we go. Oh, needs to feel actually a little bit better today. I'm not expecting any projection here. Heading up the stairs, I can't smell anything at the minute. Oh, no, I can. I definitely can. This is a lot better than I expect. This is a lot better than on my run. And again, I'm happy to be wrong with this one. You know, I've been really wrong so far on my initial impressions of this, and I've been wrong on this case. Look, I've always said boozy vanillic scents tend to stick in a room, but I just didn't think this one would. But it really has. This is 50-60. I was actually standing outside of my room at the time. 50-60, 70%, probably 70% strong. And it's not really loud. It's not really aggressive. It's not like you coming in, it's going to choke you out. It's going to make people go, wow, that's a real statement. This has caught me off guard. So what do I give as a score? Because it wasn't amazing running, but it wasn't bad. And this is certainly where it's going to be best. This is not a workout scent. So maybe I should kind of weight the fact this would fill up a room or in an office as a more important factor for projection. So I'm going to give it a 9. I was probably going to say an 8.5 originally, because it wasn't amazingly strong on my walk, or my run I should say. But I do think, you know, when you come into a room, you're going to wear this more with suit and tie occasions, where you're going to be just inside, standing in a room, not on the go, moving about. It's going to fill up a room that you've been standing in. So yeah, I think 9 out of 10 is very fair. Going to head to the gym now. Thankfully, the rain has stopped. I'm freezing cold though. I got quite wet on that walk, that run. I didn't go for a walk. We're going to go for a walk now. And what we're going to talk about on that walk is compliment factor. So do I think this is a compliment getting sent? And hopefully I'll be able to get my words out a little bit better. I'm obviously tired today. Excuses. Moving on to compliment factor, that is the Essence Vault 138. Do I think this is a compliment getting fragrance? Well, pardon the pun here, but the essence of this fragrance, of course, is to get compliments. When you've got notes like praline, cinnamon, vanilla, cognac, tonka bean, they're all notes that are in fragrances that are suited to those date night, more seductive, more formal occasions, essentially. It's not like a scent that you're going to wear casually or buy for those more casual meet up with friends sort of occasions. Now, look, I obviously got my family to smell this one the other day, and yeah, they all chose this one as the favourite one out of the two. I compared this one to Vanilla Real, Sugar Patchouli. I put them side by side, and they said, yeah, I prefer this one. But I think the only issue you'll have, and of course, no fragrance clone is going to clone a fragrance that they don't think is going to have mass appeal. And of course, the original Killian Angel Share has been around for a while because of its mass appeal. So it's built for compliments. It's proven it is a compliment getting said, and a big seller. I think for me, being a fan of fragrances, and obviously I like the uniqueness, because there's so many clones, and obviously I've bought a clone of this, so I'm criticising myself here. It's lost that uniqueness over time. It doesn't feel like something where, personally myself, I'd go out my way to compliment on it, because it's a scent DNA that just feels quite familiar to me. You know, it's very nice, it's very pleasant. Of course, maybe someone I'm more comfortable around, I would, but the fact it isn't very loud, this one, you'd have to be quite close. It'd have to be someone I feel like you're obviously, you know, on a date with, or you'd know quite well, where you're constantly in their presence, you're constantly close to them. I feel like if you're in a situation where you're out clubbing, or you know, you're on a train, you know, with strangers around, I don't think anyone would necessarily go out their way to mention it. I think if you overspray, you get a few more, but obviously it's quite limited in terms of the fact you're going to mainly wear this in those more dress-up occasions. It's not going to be your summertime scent. You're going to want something else to complement this for the gym and, you know, those more relaxing occasions. But look, it's got statement quality about it. I just think it needs a little bit more of pack a bit more of a punch, essentially. But it's a popular DNA. That's why it exists. And let's be honest, people like those mainstream smells. That's why your blue fragrances, you know, everyone's smelt them before, but people buy all the clones from websites like the Essence Hall. So I'm going to give compliment factor here another 8.5 out of 10. It's certainly built for compliments. I just wish it was a little bit more loud. A little bit more loud, this clone. I think I would have put it up a little bit more. But of course, if we do get any at the gym today where it's not suitable, we will bump up to a 10. So it's just gone 10 past 12. There is a bit of blue sky breaking up, just as my phone tells me rain is expected in the next hour. So doesn't make sense, does it? Probably will rain before I get back. But it's now time to test for longevity. It's been about 3 hours since I applied the Essence Hall 138, the Killian Angel Share clone. So let's see if it's survived a workout and shower. Do you know what? That boozy vanillic combination has definitely held on a little bit. Now, it's not super strong. I didn't expect it to be super strong, but it's probably about 30% there, maybe 35, pushing 40% as strong as it was when I applied it earlier. That's not bad. Look, these sort of notes in fragrances do tend to stick around a little bit longer. It's still quite tame, this one, and again, I wonder if that is the woody notes, a bit of the oak, maybe the sandalwood, just toning this fragrance down. But it's definitely got more of that intimate vibe about it, and it's very pleasant. Look, if you're not doing a workout, and to be fair, I had a really warm shower today, and yeah, it's still survived to a degree, and I'm obviously applying it almost to the top of my hand where I've washed my hands, I've applied antibacterial hand sanitizer. So for it to last, really, that's pretty good. I think this one, and obviously I normally spray my clothes, as you see, I actually think this one would be a good one to spray around your neck and maybe on your chest as well, because I think it would give you a little bit of extra performance, particularly as you get sweaty. I think it would kick off your skin a bit more, and if anyone is sort of in your your personal space, I think they would pick this one up. So it's done better than I thought, considering when I started my run today, I really thought it was going to completely wear off and I wasn't going to get any projection. So projection and longevity has kind of done better than I thought, and I think for that reason I'm going to give longevity, because it's not super strong. It'll be gone by the end of the day, but I don't think you need to reapply this one if you're in a cool area. Boy, this is tough. We'll go 7.5. We'll go about par. It's just about done enough. I wouldn't want it to be any weaker, though. I personally like it to be a little bit stronger, just particularly for those occasions when you are going for a night out. But I think it'd be fine for the office. I didn't think it would be initially. I thought it was more of a night out, but on a cool day, yeah, go for it. Climate control, as long as you're not getting too hot and bothered. This one will get you through just about, but yeah, 7.5, it's not too bad. But when we get back, we'll count up all the scores and I'll give my overall thoughts. Another workout done. It is 1:29. I have managed to do 43,335 steps, all while wearing this morning the Essence 138, the clone of Killian's Angel Share. So what was the total score for this fragrance based on the 5 categories that we went into? Well, it's done well. It's done better than I thought it probably would after that first round today. 40.5 out of 50, so over 80% of the mark. It's got into that magic 40. Now, it's difficult with this one because the actual scent is really nice. The scent does smell really, really good, but I feel like for someone who knows Killian Angel and really likes Killian Angel, this is going to be a brilliant clone fragrance. And what I like is it doesn't smell really cheap. It doesn't smell really synthetic, burning your nostrils or anything like that. And let's be honest, most of us, I don't think I'll ever spend £300 on a fragrance. I don't plan to anyway, because of these clones that are around. So for a lot of people, this is going to be great. You're going to get the smell of that fragrance for a good price. But if you're someone who does know that fragrance, loves that fragrance, I don't know if this one can replace it, because I still think, even though the projection and longevity is better than I expected, it still doesn't really wow me. It doesn't grip me enough. And I think for those of you that are really into your fragrances, maybe you've never smelt this one before, because I had smelt the original Killian Angel Share, before I bought this clone. It was a long time ago, and it hasn't really, someone who likes these winter fragrances, likes these boozy winter fragrances, hasn't really done enough for me to go, I really love it. And it doesn't feel like there's a lot of love put into this one. It almost feels a bit, I don't know how to explain it, but it feels a bit tame. Again, it doesn't feel like it's got something about it that makes you think this is for the fragrance purist, or whatever you want to call yourself, the fragrance expert who likes something that's a little bit different. It's probably ultimately, it's a clone of a popular fragrance that's been cloned by many different brands, so you feel like you've smelled it before. But yeah, I feel like what they've done here is they've made a really nice blend, but it's very soft. And I think I don't think personally for myself, if I was getting into fragrances, this would be the one that would get me into it. I'm just even looking at some of the clones I have. This is a Noted Aromas, one Noted Aromas Milan clone of oh yeah, it's really, really nice ombre leather. And it's just, there's something about that one that it's not as mass pleasing a smell, but it's something different about it that grips me. And I just don't think this one has anything different about it. The original Killian Angel there, that boozy note will be a bit more prominent, let's say, and you find that's going to be tough in cheap phrases to get that prominent boozy note. You find in those original scents, it will be a bit more prominent. I've got clones of Tobacco Vanille. I don't think I would have loved Tobacco Vanille like I did if it was the clones that I'd smelt first. The original Tobacco Vanille, though, is a stunner. So I think it's just something about it being obviously a cheap fragrance, which is exactly what it is. It's a cheap version of a fragrance that's £300, so you can't really go wrong. But for those of you who like something a bit different, not sure that really gives it for me, but it's a good scent. It's got a good score, and again, it's not about me, hence why it's got the very big score. I've got to give a balanced opinion, and yeah, ultimately it's all subjective. And yeah, but would I buy it again? I probably would, but I wouldn't buy it again straight away. But I'm very glad I've got it in a 30ml bottle. Certainly can fit in my gym bag, and yeah, I certainly didn't smell wrong. I didn't smell bad. Yeah, it's definitely got that addictive quality to it. But thank you very much for watching today. Be a fitness or fragrance drive along again tomorrow, so I've got a bit of an interesting concept. This may obviously come out after that, but obviously my workouts are done, so a couple of rest days to go. And yeah, we're going to be talking about, can you ever really give a fragrance back? Can you take it back to the shop, and what criteria do you need for that? But thanks for watching today. Waffling on now, so I'll catch you later.